Oh, wow, it's live. Hey, yeah, Well, listen, a little bit of trapeze, a little midnight flyer there. So y'all got to hear about 2 seconds of it, but hey, it was good stuff. So good to see everyone. Welcome and um, favor be upon us all, and may we continue to blossom, as they would say. And as the driver on the bus continues to make sure that all the doors are shut, the windows are closed, and yeah, we're on our way. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing on this Friday? Good to see you. Nita the Mystic, Spirit Girl San Francisco, David Castle, Hillard, Nina the Mystic, Susie Q, Wendy, Stephanie, Gary, Lost in Space. I believe I saw Miss Franny in the room. Franny, I owe you a call. Been meaning to do it, dear. Just be patient. I'm going to get you on. I sent you an email. I think that would be a great topic. Kent, good to see you, my friend. Get you there too. Sherry and Think Agape, Love and Always Forever. Oh, absolutely. And Ann and Bernadette, Jay, Kathy, good to see you. So welcome, everybody. May there be nothing missing, nothing broken in your life. We're going to be dealing with a lot on the topic. We're going to go back to the book, I Am, I Create. Hey, Twisted Isby, good to see you. Deborah, hello. Suzanne. Because I don't know about you, but I like quiet time. My wife and I in the evenings, we read a lot. And so it's a very, how should we say, an inviting environment to be open if you're open to communications. And many times, as many of you know, things are dropped into us. We call them truth bombs. You can call them whatever you want, but revelations are made, and it seems like they're going much faster. So we're going to be dealing a lot on manifestation. Know thyself. I saw your email before I came on, didn't get to read it, but just what the title said, I think it's a great idea. My goal here, and it's collective with this group, is to get to the point where we have a solid core of individuals that are singularly minded, solely focused, to start beginning to do group manifestations and using all the tools that we have. And we have a lot of tools, a lot of very talented people here. So anyway, just thought I'd pass that along. Hey, Sherry, thank you. Ain't it the truth, though, huh? Uh-huh. Yeah. Man, I keep saying that. I entered into this plane at the right, I knew what the heck I was doing. Come in at that right moment where you're not at the beginning of the boomers, but you're not at the end. You're right in the middle. 55. And I got to witness the birth of rock and roll. I was a roadie, saw so many of the bands and had some great times. Trapeze was a group, had a good friend of mine back in the day, David Myers, and him and I went down to Stewart's Beach in Galveston, and we're just stoned, walking on the beach, and we come up on this club, and the sound was like, oh yeah, baby. It had a cool beat to it. And so we're getting up there and we talked to the bouncer, I guess is what you would call him. And we said, who is that? And he says, there's some English band out there called Trapeze. And so I think the cover was $2. So we went in and, man, got blown away. They were just good. Anyway, always good to go down memory lane, eh? So got the cards, been holding them as we've been talking. So I don't know. Let's see. How about if that one really wanted to come up. All right, well, let's just see what it was. Well, how about this? The lunar card. How interesting. Now, this is really interesting. I'll tell you about something that happened this morning. This is really interesting. So, I want to get Brian Lunsford and anyone else who is a proficient card reader, write me. I want to get you on. You know, this is a powerful card. It really is. Look at that, folks. Got some sigil magic going on, some symbology going on. I mean, it's loaded for bear. Wow. How interesting. So that card represents caretakers of spirits and dreams. Of course, the other reverse of it is madness. And more than a few have done just that. You know, wow. Gonna have to think on that one a second. That has a real heavy psychic energy to it. It's like walking into a sprinkler. You know what I'm talking about? You're not expecting it. And man, that water hits you and you go, what? How interesting. Love these cards. Like to do a whole show where we just get a whole different variety of decks on here. That's very interesting. So, order out of chaos. Isn't that correct, Danny? Absolutely. Well, let's get the other one. So this was the card I was thinking. Hey, Pamela Jean, there you go. And Franny, I think you're spot on with that as well. I do believe it has to deal with the cycles of the moon. I have a book on moon magic if anybody is interested. In fact, let me see if I can pull it up for us. And also, we have there is a book repository that you can join, and I would really encourage you. I'll put the link in, and someone may have it already. You've got like I think I saw 5.6 million books you have access to. And so we're going to cover them all. We're going to do our best. Okay. As he says, driving the bus here. Hi, peace, man. How y'all doing? It's a groovy day. I mean, a hot one, but it is summertime. So as I pull this up, I'll tell you, I got up this morning specifically at 3:00. Didn't have to really do anything special. I mean, I woke up literally at 3:13. By the way, this is a book called Moon Spells: How to Use the Phases of the Moon to Get What You Want. It's by Diane Allenquist. And so we're going to deal a little bit more with this, but yeah, Franny, how intuitive can you be? Way to go. And we're going to be covering some other books here too. But I want to get into specifically. So I went out because I wanted to see the comet. It's only going to be available, going to be seen for another couple of days, and then it's going to drop below the horizon. And then in 8 to 10 days, at the end of July, we will see it emerge at sunset, and it will be in the northwest sky. And so, and comets are always harbingers of, most people believe, and you study this, and I have, of bad things, changes. And, you know, I don't know, bad changes, you know, things are going to happen. So anyway, I'm out there, and last night here in Colorado, it was just damn hot. I mean, it was. It didn't cool off. Many times it can be hot during the day and the humidity is so low that it does cool off and it will get chilly, in fact. Not last night. So I go out and it's 3:15 and I am looking with my telescope, and there's so much ozone and haze in the sky. And so it became very difficult to pull it clearly into view. But what I did notice was the Jupiter, Mars is there, a couple other planets as well. They're coming into an alignment here in the next couple of days. And go out, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's good for you. And I had the interesting mental impression um, of our friend Brian. And I was talking to Trina, and that what he had to say was very interesting. And I'll just give you the Reader's Digest condensed version. Um, he says that it's where he's at, it's unlike anything we can think of. He says it's somewhat like Earth, but completely different. Um, it was an interesting conversation. And I mean, there I am in my backyard with, my telescope, seeing the moon where it's coming up, and you got the planets right up there. Very surreal scene. And as I told Trina, he told me he's on an assignment. I have no doubt of that. Once you make the adjustment, you get yourself acclimated. I have no doubt. So we shall see. And, hey, we're all going to be there. So, manifestation. I get in my meditating time these impressions that, well, things need to be paid attention to. There's things we need to learn about. And this group, and there's a lot of changes. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? I'm good to see you. 33D3D, good to see you. Well, we're very versed. We're not experts in any one thing, but we're masters of many. And there's many masters here. This community is unlike anything I've seen. I mean, been involved in communes and what have you, but this is getting to be a tight group. And I believe that as we continue to mature and to acclimate ourselves one another, and as we continue to learn, we're going to be given a unique opportunity. And I believe that there are many that cannot be seen that are joining our ranks. In fact, I was told that specifically, that there are many energies now joining us. I take that as, spirit beings, non-corporeal. How's that one for a word? Because that's exactly what I see it as. And so, yeah, I tell you, I think you can expect much, much more. And the one thing that I know that is a distraction, I think you're right, Darth. Want to get you on too, bud. We'll get that Zoom figured out. Beloved Abstract, how you doing? Says, I refuse to join any club that will have me as a member. Well, we don't have membership here. You're either supposed to be here or you're not. And and it's kind of like what it is. So one of the things I know is about manifestation, and one of the things I know about manifestations is prosperity. I was taught it early. And it's really interesting because if you become well versed in manifesting prosperity, you most likely are going to be in pretty constant battles with the antithesis of what your intentions are wanting to manifest. And so it keeps you like a boxer, you know, you're always on your toes and you're willing to dodge and you're willing to jab when you got to, because that's what this third D is all about, man. I didn't set the rules. Apparently, I like coming here as I'm finding out more and more. And Trina and I will be talking about this next week. Is, you know, you can get glimpses. It's like, you know, I come from the film and video industry. And one of the things that you know the difference between film and video is film is 24 frames per second, video is 30. And so I learned very early, because we were back in those days converting film to video, that while you were in the film to tape transfer, telecine machine, Steinbach, you do what we called a 3-2 pull down. You would use 2 frames of the film and insert 1 frame of the video, and it gives you anyway the transfer. It's teaching me a lot now as I'm understanding different realms. And I believe that so much is before us, we just haven't been taught how to look at it. We haven't been taught how to interpret it. We don't know the language. We don't know the customs, the mannerisms. And as many of us who've started out you've been on your journey much, much longer than you've been here. But there is a reason why we are all meeting. Now, I think that this is a commonality that happens in many other groups. They just don't recognize it. And the moment that they have the opportunity that was afforded them, they waste, because they never crystallized it. They never took a hold of it. Franny, I like that. So I believe we're doing that here. I know how it works because I've seen it before. And in the area of prosperity, a little backfill story here. I was involved at a time with putting a production company together, a complete facility. And the law firm that we had was a very interesting law firm. The founding partners we got very close to, and they invited myself and the other 2 founders to a meeting. And this meeting, well, it turned out to be something very interesting. Was associated with L. Ron Hubbard, and many of you who may have gone through the program EST back in the day, we found belief systems that enriched people. And, you know, you can call it secret societies. I don't know about that. I think that there is a Gnostic knowledge that is not for the commoner. You know why? So I'm out there meditating, right? And so I just opened myself up and I said, Infinite One, I'd like to ask you a question. And I clearly heard this voice. Yes. And I said, what could I tell everyone today that would give them encouragement? It's all about manifesting. We got, and I'm going to use some language, it's a shithole out there. It is, people are in mass fear, and they're manifesting this stuff faster than folks we realize. And so I ask, what is holding most people back from manifesting other than fear? Because that is very easy. It's everywhere. That energy wave, you're immersed in it now. We all are. And I heard distinctly that the vast majority of us, and I'll just use us all collectively, separate yourself if you want later. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe in our words. We don't believe in our thoughts. We have very little control of our thoughts. And basically, we're pretty much of the doubter side. And until we change that, it's going to be very difficult to manifest. And we're learning a number of things. We're reading a lot of books. The Hidden Hands, I thought, was a excellent read. I enjoyed that. It was, when you look at it according to the Alpha book, right in line, even, and we haven't forgotten the Wizard's book. It's right here. The Gilmore, it's still here. It's just that I believe that there's a leading in this group, and there is, I think, a higher influence that guides what we're looking at. And by the comments, I would say that we're spot on. So having said that, have a sip of your favorite libation. Very good point, David Castle. It's like every good movie, you got to believe in it. Yeah. I mean, you go into a Star Wars movie, you believe in those characters. That's what makes it real. And for the 2 hours, it's a immersion into a different reality. Yeah. So, hey, listen, as I said, I'll put the website in. There are many, many, many books. I've been talking about this one. We're going to go through this one as soon as we finish up with the one I am. Anyway, this is the Masters of Limitations and ET Observations of Earth. Now, again, there is, I believe this person actually has a YouTube channel. Going to see if we can reach out and see how Bash R is doing. This is going to be a fun read, folks. It really is. So this is, and I'll just show you. This is Bashar, a hybrid extraterrestrial from a parallel reality. Looks a lot like us, doesn't it? It's because it is. Anyway, got the book. So get it. So when we go through this, everyone can begin to read it. And this book is available. If you want it, just ask me. I did get it again from the same website that you can go to. 5 million plus books. How can you ever get bored? It's like one lifetime is not enough. All right, let's get right on to it. Day 3, the joy of being a creator. And for myself, I don't know about you, but I've been practicing this as I get into my meditation, and I just start thinking, I create. It's an interesting vibe that it puts you in. Yeah, it does, man. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. Marcus Aurelius. What a time Marcus lived in. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some of the Roman writings, and we're going to immerse ourselves and do a little time traveling. All right, so here's Phil, and he asked, what's the secret to happiness? I am says, and remember, this is his wife, it's channeling. And by the way, you can do it too. You just have to believe in yourself. You know why most people won't channel? because they don't know the voice of their own of their inner self. And so if they hear another voice, they're confused and they become frightened. Many religions warn you not to do that. Don't you be out there channeling. But yet, you can't be in their religion unless you are channeling. So if you come out of a religious background, you already have your PhD in channeling. And if you come out of the Pentecostal background, speaking in tongues and gifts of the Holy Spirit, the 12 of them, that's all channeling, baby. I was used in the gift of prophecy, standing up before a congregation of nearly 5,000 when someone would be speaking and the word would come to me. I know about channeling. Just a matter of perspective. Anyway, I Am says, trust your inner self and you will radiate love. As you grow in your knowing of who you really are and begin creating what you are here to create, you will feel your inner self stretching further and further out until your love radiates throughout the universe. Hello, Milky Way. Phil, so what is love? Now I'm reliving the scene in The Matrix 2, you know. I'm Neo sitting in the outside, what we would call the netherworld. The great question, what is love? Well, love is a word, but love is more than that. Love is the energy of the universe. Your inner self is pure, radiating love. Love is being I am, whether or not you realize it. It is the feeling of oneness and connection with another. It's how I am feels about each human and every animal, plant, and other creation in the physical world. So it's so much more powerful than fear. It is knowing. Create something out of love for yourself and others that has never existed in the physical world before. New thoughts coming from a place of love expand the physical world. I love this. Thoughts coming from a place of fear or hate make the physical world shrink and make it feel like there isn't enough for everyone. Commentary here. The United States is in a depression right now. They're not telling you this, but we're in a depression. And the reason why recessions, they're admitting that now, but trust me, the D word, they don't want to get because it creates panic. But the reason why we get into recessions is not because of monetary policy. It's because of the conditioning. When the mass begins to believe that there is lack, not enough, this is what physically manifests in the world. This is how they've been using us, folks. This is how that's been done since they arrived here. We are their enemy. You need to realize this. And their greatest fear for them is us, because we represent expansion, prosperity, abundance, and that shrinks their world. Do you get the dichotomy here? Yeah. Isn't it odd how we bring expansion with love, favor, but because of fear and hate, one shrinks, the other expands. Yeah, it's true. Thoughts coming again from a place of fear, hate, make the physical world shrink and make it feel like there isn't enough for everyone. Phil, so the only way we gain is by creating new thoughts, new creations, and everyone gains because the universe gains. I am. The universe is made of two parts, the spiritual world of the universal mind and the physical world. In the physical world, yes, new thoughts of love expand while thoughts of hate shrink. Unlike the physical world, universal mind expands with each new creation. A creation is. It is not good for the universe. It is not bad for the universe. It is. Phil, so the universe is different than the world. I am. Yes. The physical world is only one half of the universe. The real part is intangible. It is the spiritual world of universal mind. Your inner voice is a direct link to this spiritual world. The spiritual world of universal mind projects thoughts into a physical experience. The physical world is not reality because it is recreated constantly by thoughts. It is a reflection of the mass consciousness of universal mind. And I was led to this as well as I was meditating this morning. Our whole perception of the universe is the past. We have no idea what the real universe looks like. Everything that we see is delayed light. We can't see the present, only in this world. Weird, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, that's great mind coitus, Steiger. Love it. Yeah, we love mind coitus. Phil, how do thoughts expand the universe? I am. Universal mind in the spiritual world stores every thought that has ever been thought, because this is one part of the universe. Every thought expands the universe, whether it is a thought of plenty or a thought of lack. The physical world is a projection of this universal mind. So if there are more thoughts of lack, then that's what you will experience in the physical world. If there are more thoughts of plenty, then that is what you will experience in the physical world. Wow. It's like, man, we all got a little inventory here to be doing. Phil asks the question, so if we think there's enough for everybody, that's what will be created? Yes. When more people are thinking there is enough instead of thinking there isn't, there will be enough. The only truth is, I create. I am here to experience and expand the universe. Many people believe that the physical world is what's real, but it's just an illusion projected from the spiritual world of universal mind. The physical world can be changed and shaped by new creative thought. Every moment, this is happening. Wow. If you believe you must do certain things to survive in the physical world, you are placing limits on your creative ability. These self-imposed limits strengthen your fears and block your inner self. It is not the truth, but you experience the world through your senses. So that's what feels real to you. Phil, so we are kind of trying to survive in a physical world. I am. Instead of thinking and shaping your physical world. Wow. Isn't that odd? Because we get programmed into surviving instead of creating. It's interesting. If you enter the game thinking that you're here merely to survive, whoa. Yeah, we don't want that. Phil, okay, so we are trying to survive the physical world instead of create the physical world. I am. Yes. Struggling is something that happens when you're focused on I. When you believe you're an individual and that life is hard, when you're focused on creating something to benefit others, your goal to contribute to the expansion of the universe is so much bigger than the things that had been holding you back in your I days. Your fears and insecurities melt away because they're insignificant compared to what you have to offer the world. The more you allow yourself to trust your inner self, the more you will feel this shift from me to we. Phil, do you mean if we weren't so tied to these thoughts that we need to survive, we would create something new? I am. Many people are limited by a belief that they can only recreate that which has already been created. This belief is not true, but it is being recreated constantly by mass human consciousness. When someone goes outside of the bounds of what is generally considered possible and invents a new life-changing object, most people don't recognize they have that same creative power. There is only one truth. I am, I create. All thoughts create. New thoughts come from an understanding of your unlimited creative power and creates that which has not been created before. Old thoughts recreate that which has already been created. An example of an old thought is thinking that airplanes can fly. When you take an airplane, there is no doubt in you that it will fly. You have knowing it will fly because it has happened so many times. It's odd. I mean, you know that to be true. I mean, as much as I used to fly, it never occurred to me. Now, I got really good to where I could look at my watch and I knew exactly how many seconds it took for that plane to have the nose off of the ground. Yeah, I know exactly how many seconds it requires for us when the revert fans when you're landing. Anyway, that's how good we have got to get in believing in ourselves, in our creative ability to manifest. Let's continue. Old thoughts can be a useful way to experience, but the joy of creating through them wears off quickly. The first time you fly in an airplane, it's exciting, but even by the end of the flight, you're probably ready to get off. And each airplane trip you take becomes less fulfilling and more of a chore because we are not here to experience the same thing over and over and over and over again. Joy comes when we start creating new thoughts based on love for all and experiencing through them. You are here to give something back to the world, something to make the world better than it was before you came. Old thoughts are creations, but they aren't your original creation. No matter how much you enjoy the experience of them at first, they will never bring you lasting joy. A good example of this is watching a great movie. It is someone else's creation that you are experiencing. It's fantastic the first time you watch it. It's still pretty good the second time. But by the third time you watched it, it's getting old. You get bored because your inner self is not here to recreate old thoughts. However, for the original creator, it doesn't matter whether or not they enjoy watching the movie. They will always be able to experience the joy of knowing they created something new that didn't exist before. You are here now to create new thoughts, new creations that enhance and expand the universe. Phil, so new creation brings us joy. Yes, Can anything else bring us joy? Love, pure love based on an understanding of oneness. Knowing you are a creator is joy. It is what you feel once you've brought your creation from the world of mind into the physical world. It's hard to explain using words because there is no English equivalent for the type of joy I mean. It is not the same as happiness, which is an emotion. Phil, what are emotions? I am. I create in this physical world to have experiences. I experience in two ways, through my senses and through emotions. When I'm creating with full knowing of who I am and why I'm here, I experience pure love and joy. When you're creating through the filter of the persona, you experience the full range of emotion. Both have value, but you tend to be sad the further away you get from knowing that your thoughts have creative power. And I just want to stop here. Here's a thought, too, I think. So many people who become depressed and eventually determine their own exit, if they just understood the gift, each one of us, every one of you listening and watching, you have what you can create is only what you can create. And we need it. The world desperately needs it. And the day that we can lock arm in arm in a united front and a strong back, we're going to be a power force. Talk about the Power Rangers. All right, we continue. All the experiences you create in your life, whether you consider them good or bad, allow you to get closer to knowing what it is you are here to do. If you feel that your life has been filled with horrible experiences, now that you are learning the truth, you have that much more opportunity to rise above them. So you rise above than somebody whose life has been full of joy. It doesn't matter when you're starting from today. You can get on the path to finding yourself and fulfilling your life now. Your emotions help you to know if you are on the right track. Phil, so emotions are not thoughts. Do emotions create? I am. No. Emotions are a state of mind. I love this. This is so vitally important because it really helps us to, I think, bring order to chaos. They are created either by your thoughts or your acceptance of what other people are saying about you. Emotions are not thoughts, and they do not create. However, how you feel, the emotions you experience, will affect your thoughts and thus your creations. Most people have no idea that they can control and create their own emotions. Remember that seminar you and Erwin watched where the speaker made a girl upset, and then he snapped his fingers and made her laugh. She changed just like that. She accepted his creative thoughts, and those thoughts made her both happy and unhappy. If she was someone who was in control of her thoughts and emotions, she probably would not have let his words affect her. At the same time that you want to control your emotions so you can control your creations, you have to remember that you are human. Part of what you are here to do is to experience. And emotions are a powerful way to experience the physical world. Ignoring emotions and stuffing them down inside while pretending to feel something else is not what you are here to do. If you are experiencing an emotion that you would like to get rid of, You need to process it and then discharge it. The worst thing you can do is ignore it because it will fester inside you no matter how happy you act on the outside. An example is grief after someone you loved has passed. It is natural to feel grief because you still have a persona. It is a sign that you are full of love. Let yourself feel the grief, and it will pass. You are a creator. You have the ability to create happiness while you still have grief to discharge. But it will fester inside of you no matter how positive all your thoughts are. And then this is commentary. When we held Brian's memorial service, the group met afterwards, and you show emotions. I do. I learned a long time ago, if you got grief, good grief, show your grief. And that group became a lot closer because this group became a lot closer because of Brian's passing. And we both cried and laughed. And now we are creating something new. I mean, that's a powerful testimony to an individual and to a group. For we're all like Brian in this. We all seek love, and we all seek to be the frequency we want to be and receive. We continue. Understand and accept that all emotions have value because they tell you how much you are blocking or allowing your inner self. The closer you feel to genuine joy, the more you are allowing your inner self. The more miserable you feel, the more you are blocking your inner self. It is incredibly powerful to recognize that wherever you are, on what spectrum, you are human and thus a creator. So you can control and change your emotions through new thoughts. Actresses and actors do that. They're masters at it. It's interesting. Now you know why you took theater, right? I love it. Is there any emotion in knowing? I am. When I create with full knowing of what I am creating, I do it, I am joyful. If the persona creates without full knowing through worry or fear, you feel sad or mad or hateful or any other range of emotions that you may not want. Phil, is joy a state of mind or is it different than states of mind? I am. Joy is the ultimate knowing of love in oneness. You can't smile big enough to describe the feeling. There's not an English word to communicate the feeling of knowing I am. Joy and love are as close as it gets. Phil, sometimes monks and people who meditate mention how they experience states of joy. Are they experiencing I am? I am. Yes, yes. They know so much I am that they cannot communicate the feeling to those who do not know I am. That's why there's no English word or equivalent. That is why I cannot communicate to you how much more than the word joy knowing I am is. Phil, is creating the same as manifesting? I love this. I am. When you are fully I am with no persona, your thoughts are manifested in the physical world immediately, with no action required. To create when you are an individual with a persona, you have to build your knowing by taking action in the physical world. Building is knowing your creation will appear in the physical world when you take action. Phil, is building different than creating? I am. Building is a way to create when you still have doubts. You take action based on guidance from your inner self. As you see the results of the guidance you are following, your knowing that you are a creator grows. Because you are an unlimited creator, you can block guidance from your inner self. You can create anything in the physical world, including not following your blueprint. Your blueprint is something you're here to accomplish to expand the universe. Each one of us, folks. Wow. How freaking far out is that? Fulfilling your blueprint leads to feelings of love and joy. Failing to pay attention to your inner self and create what you're here to create leads to feelings of misery. Feel. That's why most people don't believe there is any kind of destiny for them, because how could there be? I'm not God, but they are God. So God hasn't set a destiny for anyone but itself. I am. That's right. I have a plan for each body that's born. It's my goal to come down into these bodies and implement that blueprint. In the beginning, it was very easy because little had to be created by humans. But as more and more was created, we went further and further away from the truth. Few people today understand their unlimited creative potential. Phil. So I am, or my inner self knows what I'm here to create. I am, yes. The process of finding yourself and fulfilling your blueprint is not designed to be done quickly. Everyone is here to create something big, no matter where they are right now. It doesn't matter your age, your income, or your education. You can get on the path to fulfilling your blueprint by turning in to your inner voice. The thought just hit me on this too, folks. Many of us are creating things that will not manifest on this world, but on others. And it will benefit others. It's a big universe. Phil, how do you tell us what it is we are here to create? What our blueprint is? I am. You may already know what it is. It's something you've always wanted to do, but don't think it's possible or realistic for you. What you are here to do won't feel easy until you start taking definitive action despite your fears. If you don't know what it is or aren't sure, ask your inner self. And I just want to stop here. As an entrepreneur, I had to learn that failure was indeed an option. Something about the entrepreneurial state of consciousness. We're masters. And I'm convinced the vast majority of us have stepped down from higher densities into this one. You get over the fear of losing money, there's not very much more that you'll have to be conquering. And entrepreneurship is that. It's not for the faint of heart. But the failures, if you look back, teach you so much more than the successes do. It's a fact. All right. Phil, do you know everyone's blueprint? I am. Yes. Write this down and build. Build a book? I am. Share this knowledge. Phil, how should we do that? I am. Put it on the internet or build a book. How you do it does not matter. And isn't that a great place to end? We'll get into day 3. I like this book. I don't know about you. You can get a copy of it. It's there. This is far out stuff. Maverick says, seeing inconvenience as an opportunity. You know, I was telling my wife this morning, as you know, we were preparing for the day, that it's so interesting. More millionaires came out of the Great Depression than at any other time in the Industrial Revolution. With every great recession or depression, innovators step forward, because with every calamity, an opportunity exists for a solution. Most people pass by their $1,000,000 ideas, and it gets to a point where they won't come anymore because you ignore them. More people fail because they are afraid of success. Success scares them. It's far better to revert back where it's safe than to expose to the risk. But the problem is you'll never grow if that's where you are at. You have to charge in battle. No battle was ever won by a soldier hiding behind the lines. The valiant, the courageous, the innovators were on the front line charging. That's exactly what we have to do here. If this is a world that is created, then we know what has taken place. We know now where the cancer is. The cancer is us. There is a cancer in the core of the human collective consciousness. We must attack that cancer. We must obliterate it. And the only way that that's going to happen is through love, unity, togetherness, singleness of purpose and focus. It's time to bring our talents here and do what we were all meant to do here. And once we obliterate the cancer, we can replace that with what was always meant to be. Hey, the Princess Funk. I like that. Lovely handle. Agree with what you say. Yeah. She writes, you know, very good information, giving us reassurance of the message to take action many of us are receiving. I agree. Folks, there is victory. Victory is going to be created because the victory that we're talking about hasn't ever been created before. And it can only work. It can't be done individually. Individually, we can train. Like doing calisthenics, weights, running. The revelation came to me about 6 weeks ago when I was talking, when Trina and I were doing our show. And the day before, we were talking about, in the Alpha book, the solar plexus. And I got tuned into that. Now, I had already been working into a routine, but I'm telling you, folks, all the guys out there, all you gals, we've got to get our solar plexus back into shape. I'm not sure why, but you need to get the abs strong again. There's something we're missing here. There's something about the solar plexus that we're not focusing in on. It is probably where the center of the, I think, energy is transmuted. But in any case, we're going into battle. And if you don't want to go into battle, that's fine. But it's going to require a warrior's mentality. The masters that are here, the master wizards, the witches, the sorcerers, the seers, the priests, the priestesses, it's time for us to all come together and add to our talents by adding one another to our talents. And then we're going to meet privately. We won't do a public broadcast. We'll do a private Zoom meeting, most likely. And when we get there, we're going to be free to really begin to do the serious manifestation. We got a lot of work to do. 1,000 crunches a day? Woo! Yeah. Well, excusez-moi. I can't say that I'm there. Good deal, but not anything like that. So anyway, folks, have yourself a fabulous Saturday and Sunday. Make it the strong end of your week, the middle of your week, or the end of your week. Whatever it is, enjoy it. Learn, start creating. And when we meet back here again on Monday, we're going to continue. We got so many great books to be learning from. And the group meditation, I think you're right. Know thyself. I think we're getting at that point. And we got to get ourselves in shape. And that's in all ways. That's what prosperity is, folks. I continue to pound this into us. Prosperity is not about what you have in your bank account. The universe is not broke. The universe is not run out of gold. It hasn't run out of silver. It hasn't run out of the carbon blocks to make life. It's abundant. The amazing thing about this planet is that it never runs out. Neither will you. Okay. Thank y'all for being here. Rock and roll, listen to some music, laugh, dance, love the one you're around. Do what I did with my wife this morning. I just grabbed her and, did the waltz, the curtsy, and, dance with the one you love. And if you're alone, give yourself a hug and go out and dance. Dancing it casts off evil works. Yeah, those are the pesky things. These are the low life. Yeah, they're like a mosquito. And you start dancing, they can't handle that vibration. But the great thing is, you bring in other vibrations that are going to dance with you, baby. All right, folks, love y'all. And hey, you're beautiful. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. It's an honor and an absolute joy to be a part of all of you. So thank you, folks. We'll see you on Monday. Bye.